Jax Harper moved quietly through the gleaming corridors of the Celestia station. The hum of engines, the soft whir of machinery, and the distant chatter of alien voices filled the massive station. But for Jax, it was just another day at work. As a janitor, his life was simple. He swept floors, cleaned spills, and made sure the station looked perfect. Most people didn't notice him, or they chose not to. He had grown used to the dismissive glances from aliens, the quiet jokes about humans being weak or unimportant. On the station, humans were rare. They were known for their resilience, their adaptability, but few considered them clever in ways that mattered in interstellar politics. Janitors like Jax were seen as harmless, invisible, and that suited him just fine. He pushed a cleaning cart down a long hallway, humming softly. The hall stretched endlessly, its polished floor reflecting the neon lights overhead. Doors lined the corridor, each marked with alien symbols that Jax didn't recognize. Most of these rooms were restricted, reserved for diplomats, scientists, or military personnel. He had learned early not to enter them, yet curiosity often found him where it shouldn't. Today, a small door at the end of the hall caught his eye. It was slightly ajar, just enough for a sliver of light to escape. Most people would have walked by without a second thought. But Jax's eyes lingered. There was something different about this door. He pushed it open quietly, careful not to make a sound. Inside was a small storage room, cluttered with crates, broken equipment, and discarded tools. The smell of oil and metal hung in the air. Most of the items looked old, useless, and forgotten. But in the far corner, under a stack of crates, something glimmered faintly. Jax crouched and reached for it. It was a small device, unlike anything he had seen before. Sleek and metallic, with tiny, intricate carvings across its surface. As soon as his fingers touched it, a warm sensation ran through his arm. He gasped and pulled back, watching in shock as a glowing pattern appeared on his forearm. It was a tattoo, but not like any tattoo he had ever seen. The lines moved, shifting like liquid light. Symbols formed and disappeared, intertwining in patterns that seemed alive. Jax stared, heart racing. What is this?" he whispered to himself. Before he could examine it further, a shadow fell across the doorway. Jax froze. A tall, four-armed alien leaned against the doorframe, its eyes wide and curious. "You've found it," the alien said in a low, trembling voice. "The chosen mark." Jax blinked. "Chosen? What?" The alien shook its head. "No matter. Keep it hidden. They will come for you." "Who will come for me?" Jax asked, his voice steady despite the adrenaline racing through him. "The ones who remember the prophecy. They know a human with that mark can change everything. You must not show it." Jax had no idea what they were talking about. He had always known humans were underestimated. But this was something entirely different. He looked down at the glowing tattoo, trying to understand its meaning, but it refused to be understood. For the next few days, Jax tried to act normal. He cleaned corridors, polished floors, and swept the decks as usual. But he couldn't stop thinking about the tattoo. It pulsed gently, like it had a heartbeat of its own. And sometimes, when he accidentally touched station equipment, the devices reacted to him. Doors opened before he could press the controls, lights shifted when he waved his hand, and small machines whirred to life without explanation. At first, he thought he was imagining things. Humans were known for their intuition, their ability to improvise. But the events became harder to ignore. Jax realized the tattoo was responding. Not just glowing, it was communicating with the technology around him. Word spread quietly among the alien staff. Some noticed the strange events and whispered to one another. "It's him," a green-skinned diplomat murmured. "The human with the mark." Others laughed it off, believing it to be superstition, a joke. Humans had always been underestimated. Jax tried to keep a low profile. He didn't want trouble. He didn't want attention. But it seemed attention had already found him. Strange figures began appearing in the hallways, aliens he had never seen before, observing him with curious or wary eyes. He tried to ignore them, but their presence was unsettling. One night, after a long shift, Jack sat alone in the break room. He traced the glowing lines on his forearm with his finger, trying to understand their meaning. That's when Zephyra appeared, a tall, elegant alien, with silver feathers and eyes that seemed older than the stars themselves. "You feel it, don't you?" Zephyra asked. Jax jumped. Who are you?" "I am Zephyra," she said gently. "I study the history of the galaxy. I have seen marks like yours before. Humans were once catalysts. The galaxy underestimated you, and it will regret it if it forgets again." Jax frowned. "Catalysts? I'm just a janitor. I don't have any power. I clean floors, that's it." Zephyra shook her head. "Power is not always about weapons or armies. Power can be in your choices, your ingenuity, your ability to adapt. This mark, it recognizes that in you. It chose you for a reason." The words sank into Jax's mind. He had always known humans were different in small ways. Our resourcefulness, our curiosity, our stubbornness. But to be chosen for something greater than himself? It was overwhelming. The next morning, Jax returned to work, trying to act normal, but nothing felt normal anymore. He could sense the way technology responded to him, almost as if the station itself recognized him. Doors opened without touch, robots paused to observe him, and even the lighting seemed to brighten slightly as he passed. A crisis soon arrived unexpectedly. A small fire broke out in a section of the station, a rare occurrence given the advanced safety measures. Jax, on his cleaning rounds, was first on the scene. Without thinking, he touched the control panel nearby. The extinguishing system activated instantly, putting out the fire before anyone else could react. Aliens watching from a distance gasped. "You see?" Zephyra said softly, appearing behind him. "Even in small ways, you are already shaping the station." Jax stared at the extinguished fire, then at his glowing tattoo. He was no longer just a janitor. He was something more, something even he didn't fully understand yet. Over the following days, the station grew tense. Rumors about the human with the mark spread. Some aliens feared him. Others were fascinated. Jax, meanwhile, focused on learning the limits of his newfound abilities. He experimented quietly, discovering that he could interface with alien technology in ways no one else could. He could access locked systems, repair damaged machinery instantly, and even control small drones with a thought. Yet, with power came danger. Shadowy figures began trailing him, and strange messages appeared on his cleaning terminal, warning him to stay away from certain areas. Jax realized the prophecy Zephyra spoke of was not just legend, it was a warning. Some factions feared the potential of a human with such abilities, and they would not hesitate to act. One evening, while cleaning the lower decks, Jax stumbled upon a hidden chamber. Inside, he found records of ancient galactic events, battles, lost civilizations, and humans mentioned in cryptic texts. The writing spoke of the catalyst human, a figure who could influence the course of empires with intellect and intuition alone. Jax's heart pounded. Could it really be him? A simple janitor, underestimated by everyone, now standing in a room full of proof that humans had once shaped the galaxy in secret. As he left the chamber, he knew one thing for certain. His life would never be the same again. The ordinary days of sweeping floors and empty corridors were over. Somewhere in the galaxy, eyes were watching him, waiting to see what the human janitor would do next. And Jax knew he had a choice: remain invisible, or embrace the mark and the destiny it had chosen for him. The tattoo pulsed gently on his forearm, a constant reminder that the galaxy had plans, and for the first time, Jax felt the stirrings of something he had never known: purpose. And so, the ordinary janitor took the first step into a story far larger than he could have imagined. The days following the fire were unlike anything Jax Harper had experienced. Every corner of Celestia Station seemed alive in a new way. The corridors hummed as if aware of his presence. The lights flickered gently in acknowledgement, and even the smallest maintenance drones paused to study him as he passed. The glowing tattoo on his forearm had become more complex, its lines shifting constantly, reacting to his thoughts and movements. Jax had tried to act normal, sweeping floors, polishing decks, emptying trash, but normality had become impossible. The moment he touched any piece of technology, it seemed to obey him instinctively. Doors opened without effort, panels unlocked at a gesture, and even alien devices designed to resist human tampering, responded to him. Zephyra appeared again, her presence quiet, yet commanding. She watched him one morning in the lower maintenance decks, her silver-feathered eyes tracing the lines of his glowing tattoo. "You are learning," she said softly. "Faster than I expected." Jax scratched the back of his head. "I don't understand it. I just touch something, and it works. Why me? I'm just a janitor." Zephyra smiled faintly. "That is exactly why you were chosen. Humans have a way of seeing solutions others overlook. You notice the gaps, the flaws, the overlooked paths. That ability is rare in the galaxy." Jax frowned. "But it's dangerous. Someone could see what I'm doing, and then..." He stopped, thinking of the shadowy figures he had glimpsed in the hallways. "They will come," Zephyra said, "and you must be ready." The first real test of Jax's newfound abilities came sooner than he expected. One morning, as he was emptying waste containers near the docking bays, alarms blared across the station. Red lights flashed, echoing against the metallic walls. A group of alien traders had inadvertently triggered the station's security system, mistaking a high-value cargo crate for a storage locker. Automated defense drones moved to intercept them, ready to neutralize what they assumed was a threat. Jax froze. The traders panicked, speaking in a mix of alien dialects. None of them could understand why a human janitor was nearby, but Jax did something unexpected. He reached out, instinctively touching the control console. The drones halted mid-flight, hovering silently. The alarms cut off instantly. A crowd of aliens watched from the safety of the upper decks, whispering among themselves. Jax's actions were subtle, but unmistakable. He had controlled the station's defense systems without a single command, without even pressing a button. His tattoo glowed brighter than ever, lines moving like rivers of light. Zephyra appeared again, her expression serious. "You see now. The mark is more than a symbol. It connects you to the station itself, and soon, to much more. You are not just interacting with machines, you are communicating with them. They listen to you, because you are a catalyst." Jax's heart raced. "A catalyst? What does that mean?" "It means you can influence more than the station. Your intuition, your human creativity, your ability to improvise. These are powers that even the most advanced species cannot predict. You have the ability to shape outcomes others cannot even imagine." Jax shook his head. It was overwhelming. He had never asked for this. All he wanted was a quiet life, cleaning floors, keeping things neat. Yet destiny had other plans. In the following weeks, Jax began experimenting cautiously. He tested the limits of the tattoo in secret, learning to open locked doors, repair broken drones, and even temporarily override complex alien security systems. Each success increased his confidence, but also his fear. Every time he used his powers, he risked being discovered by those who would exploit or destroy him. One evening, he returned to the storage room where he had first found the device. The tattoo pulsed, almost as if recognizing the location. Jax carefully placed the device on a table, studying it. Its carvings seemed to shift in response to his presence, as though alive. He tentatively touched it again, and this time, a holographic projection appeared above the device. Symbols, star charts, and alien writings filled the air, rotating slowly. Jax blinked. He had never seen anything like it. The projection highlighted different areas of the galaxy, marking certain star systems with glowing icons. And then, one symbol pulsed brighter than all the others: Earth. Zephyra appeared silently behind him. "You see now," she said. Humans were once known as catalysts because of your ability to adapt and influence the galaxy. The tattoo connects you to this legacy. It is awakening you to your potential. Jax stared at the holographic projection, feeling both pride and fear. His species had been underestimated for centuries, dismissed as weak, and yet here he was connected to a power that could change the galaxy. The first real challenge came with an unexpected arrival. A delegation of aliens, diplomats, and traders from multiple systems had come to the station to negotiate a rare technology trade. Their ships were massive, sleek, and heavily guarded. They were suspicious of humans, often treating them as minor service staff. And they certainly did not expect one to intervene in serious matters. But Jax had no choice. During the trade, a critical system failure threatened the docking process. Alarms blared, lights flickered, and the entire operation was at risk. Panic spread among the aliens. Without thinking, Jax reached out and touched the station's control panel. Systems responded immediately. Docking clamps engaged perfectly. Power was rerouted to stabilize the docking bay, and communications were restored. The alien delegation froze in astonishment. One of the traders, a tall, insectoid creature with multiple eyes, whispered to another, It was just a human. How did he do that? Jax, meanwhile, simply stood back, panting slightly. He was exhausted, but exhilarated. He had used his gift to prevent a disaster. Zephyra appeared beside him, her expression unreadable. "They are beginning to notice," she said quietly. "You cannot hide this much longer. The more you use the mark, the more the galaxy will watch. Some will want to protect you. Others will want to control you or destroy you." Jax swallowed hard. He had always preferred invisibility, the quiet safety of being a janitor. Now, he realized that invisibility was no longer an option. The galaxy had noticed him, and his choices would have consequences far beyond cleaning floors or emptying trash bins. In the days that followed, Jax began to understand more about the tattoo and his connection to technology. It was not just about control, it was about understanding. He could sense the flow of energy through machines, anticipate malfunctions, and even predict how complex systems would react to changes. One afternoon, while repairing a malfunctioning drone, Jax noticed a new pattern in the tattoo. Lines shifted into shapes resembling alien writing. Curiosity overcame caution. He traced the symbols with his finger, and suddenly, a stream of data flowed into his mind. He saw maps of distant star systems, schematics of alien warships, and even communications between factions plotting against one another. It was overwhelming. Jax staggered back, heart pounding. Zephyra appeared instantly, steadying him. "Do not fear what you can perceive," she said. "Humans have always been able to see connections others cannot. This is your gift, amplified. You are beginning to awaken fully." Jax nodded, still shaken. He realized that his simple life as a janitor was gone forever. He was now part of something much larger, a web of galactic events in which his choices would matter. By the end of the second week, Jax had begun to act deliberately. He helped aliens in need, subtly fixing problems without drawing attention to his powers. His reputation grew quietly. Whispers spread about the human who could fix anything, who seemed to have uncanny foresight. Some feared him, others admired him, and most underestimated him. But Jax was learning patience. He understood that power without strategy could be dangerous. He continued to clean, to sweep, to polish. But now, he watched, observed, and calculated. Every hallway, every device, every interaction was an opportunity to learn, to prepare, to grow stronger. The tattoo glowed steadily, a constant reminder that he was no longer ordinary. The galaxy was vast, full of mysteries and dangers, and humans had been underestimated for too long. Jax Harper, the janitor, was awakening, and the galaxy would soon see that even the simplest human could become a force beyond imagination. And somewhere in the shadows, watchers, some friendly, some hostile, took note. The human with the tattoo was no longer invisible. The ordinary janitor had begun his transformation into something far greater. The station had never felt more tense. Rumors about the human with the glowing tattoo had spread through Celestia Station like wildfire. Whispers echoed in corridors, and alien traders, diplomats, and engineers all speculated about what this simple human janitor could do. Jax Harper, once invisible and overlooked, now carried the weight of expectation, fear, and curiosity from the entire station. Jax himself was calm as a human could be when shadows of danger loomed. The tattoo on his forearm pulsed gently, its lines alive, reminding him that the path ahead was no longer ordinary. He had spent weeks learning, observing, and testing his abilities. He could communicate with the station's systems, predict malfunctions, repair almost anything instantly, and even control small drones with thought. But knowledge alone was not enough. The galaxy was watching, and soon, action would be required. It began with a warning. A small message appeared on one of the station's communication panels. Its language was alien, formal, and cold. The words were simple. Do not interfere. Human catalyst is forbidden. Compliance is required. Jax read it slowly, heart thudding. He had expected curiosity, but now he saw the real danger. Some beings feared his abilities so much, they would try to destroy him. He glanced at Zephyra, who had been observing quietly. They are testing you, she said softly. You are no longer just a janitor. You are a catalyst. And catalysts cannot hide forever. Jax clenched his fists. Then I won't hide. But I won't start a war either. Zephyra nodded. Human thinking. Adaptable. Careful. That is why you were chosen. Fire. The first real challenge came quickly. A hostile alien faction, the Korthan, had infiltrated the station. They were sleek, predatory, and dangerous engineers and warriors who relied on speed, intelligence, and intimidation. Their goal was clear. Locate the human with the tattoo, and capture or eliminate him. Jax was cleaning a lower deck when alarms blared. The Korthan were moving fast, sealing corridors and threatening civilians. Panic spread, and most of the station's personnel froze. Unsure what to do, Jax took a deep breath. This was the moment Zephyra had warned him about. He touched the nearest control panel, feeling the flow of energy in the station. The tattoo pulsed brighter than ever. Lights shifted, doors unlocked, and maintenance drones sprang to life. Follow me, Jax shouted to the nearby humans and aliens who were trapped. He guided them through hidden corridors only a janitor would know. Bypassing the Korthan's security measures, his intimate knowledge of the station became a weapon. Every twist, every shortcut, every hidden maintenance shaft gave them an advantage. The Korthan were relentless. They breached one of the upper decks, attempting to seize control of the station's central systems. Jax focused, touching the central control console. Immediately, the station's automated defense drones responded to him. They moved with precision, blocking the invader's path without causing unnecessary harm. The alien delegation that had once watched his abilities in awe now saw him in action, orchestrating defenses, saving lives, and turning the tide against a faction that outnumbered and outgunned them. Jax realized something important. Power alone was not enough. Strategy, human intuition, and adaptability were what truly made him effective. Hours passed like minutes. Jax moved swiftly, combining his knowledge of the station with the tattoo's abilities. He rerouted power to disable security doors that trapped civilians, controlled drones to cut off the Korthan's advance, and even repaired critical systems damaged during the attack. Despite the danger, Jax never hesitated. He had always been underestimated, and now he realized that being underestimated was an advantage. The Korthan assumed a human janitor would be useless. They had no idea that the very qualities they dismissed, curiosity, adaptability, intuition, were exactly what made him unstoppable. At the height of the battle, the Korthan leader, a tall, armored alien with glowing eyes, confronted Jax in the central hub. You are nothing, human, the alien hissed. A weak creature, unworthy of power. Jax looked at the alien calmly, feeling the tattoo pulse with energy. "You've underestimated humans for the last time," he said. Then, with a simple touch to the control panel, he activated every security measure the Korthon had ignored. Doors slammed shut, drones surrounded the intruder, and communication systems broadcast warnings throughout the station. The Korthon leader struggled, but the combination of Jax's knowledge, the station's systems, and his human ingenuity overwhelmed him. The invaders were captured, their weapons neutralized, and their plans foiled without unnecessary destruction. After the battle, the station was quiet. Aliens and humans alike gathered in the central hall, looking at Jax with a mixture of awe, respect, and disbelief. The janitor who had swept floors, cleaned corridors, and been invisible to almost everyone had saved the station from a powerful threat. Zephyra stepped forward, her silver feathers catching the light. "The prophecy was true," she said softly. "The human catalyst has awakened. Not through armies, not through weapons, but through ingenuity, courage, and the will to act." Jax looked at the crowd. He didn't feel like a hero. He had just done what any human would do: adapt, think, and protect those who could not protect themselves. But for the first time, he realized that humans were capable of far more than the galaxy believed. The following days were filled with recognition and whispers of respect. Other species who had dismissed humans began to watch them differently. Jax returned to his duties as a janitor, quietly cleaning floors and emptying waste. But the way others looked at him had changed. Even the Korthon, now prisoners of the station, knew that humans were not to be underestimated. The tattoo on his arm began to fade, the line slowly retracting as if acknowledging that its purpose had been fulfilled. Yet its presence had left a permanent impression on the galaxy and on Jax himself. He had seen what humans were capable of, not through brute strength or advanced technology, but through curiosity, quick thinking, and a willingness to act when others froze. Jax spent his nights reflecting on what had happened. The station was safe, for now, but the galaxy was vast, and threats would come again. Yet, he no longer felt ordinary. The lessons he had learned, the value of observation, intuition, and courage, would guide him in the days ahead. One evening, as he polished the floors of a quiet corridor, Zephyra approached him. "You have done well, Jax Harper. But this is only the beginning. The galaxy is changing, and humans have a role in that change." Jax smiled faintly. "I just want to keep doing what I can. Cleaning, fixing, helping. That's enough for me." Zephyra nodded. "For now. But remember, even the simplest human can shape destinies. You have proven that." The word stayed with Jax. He glanced at his forearm, now free of glowing lines, and realized that power was not always visible. It was in his mind, his choices, his ability to see paths others could not. The galaxy would remember that humans were underestimated at their peril. Weeks later, Celestia Station returned to normal. Aliens continued their trades and negotiations, unaware of how close disaster had come. But whispers persisted, stories of the human janitor who had controlled the station, outsmarted the Korthon, and saved countless lives. Humans, once overlooked, were no longer considered minor players. Jax resumed his routines, sweeping floors, cleaning panels, and emptying waste containers. He smiled quietly, knowing that even in small, simple ways, humans could make an extraordinary difference. The galaxy might not understand them yet, but they would learn. And one human, underestimated and overlooked, had proven that sometimes the smallest spark could ignite a change no one could ignore. As he walked through the halls, Jax felt a sense of calm determination. The tattoo might be gone, the battle won, but the lesson remained. Humans were resilient, adaptable, and capable of greatness. And when the galaxy next faced a challenge, it might be the very humans who others overlooked who would rise to meet it. Jax Harper, the janitor, had become more than anyone expected, and the galaxy would never forget it.